Scully comes to terms with the fact she has cancer. Unable to accept his partner's condition, Mulder goes on a quest to find answers.
The mythology comes crashing back to the forefront in this drama as we find Scully once again at the mercy of the Syndicate.
This is not happening.
Scully? I stole these from some guy with a broken leg down the hall. He won't be able to catch me. How you doing?
I guess that's the question. Actually, I feel fine.
What exactly are we looking at here?
It's what's called a nasopharyngeal mass. It's a small growth on the wall between the superior concha and the sphenoidal sinus.
A growth?
A tumor. You're the only one I've called.
Okay. Is it operable?
No.
But it's treatable.
The truth is that the type and placement of the tumor make it difficult to the extreme.
I refuse to believe that.
For all the times that I have said that to you, I am as certain about this as you have ever been. I have cancer. It is a mass on the wall between my sinus and cerebrum. If it pushes into my brain, statistically, there is about 0 chance of survival.
I don't accept that. There must be some people who have received treatment for this. We can...
Yes, there are.
Welcome back to the show, ladies and gentlemen. This is Not Happening, another X-Files podcast. I'm your host, Mike. With me, as always, is my good friend, Andrew, who is currently trying to chew fastly as he munches on some breakfast pizza. Did not expect me to call him out, but he is not ready to introduce himself. But I will keep talking while I give him time.
Keep talking.
He is chewing. He is laughing as the trees wisp around behind him to the gentle breeze in Canada. And
wow, I could have choked to death on that, and it would have just been part of the episode now. Brilliant. Hello, Mike. Hello, world. That breakfast pizza is so good.
We are prepared all the time.
Oh, yeah.
Today we are talking about Memento Mori, episode 14 of season 4.
We're crashing our way through season 4.
Oh, boy. We are almost done. I mean, we got a ways to go, but we are almost done.
Well, all the good ones, at least. This episode has everybody in it. It's got, like, I don't know who's missing. The only one who's missing is the other Scully child, you know, the man everyone loves to hate. But otherwise, like, every supporting character is in here. Maybe not Marita Covarrubias, I suppose, but what would she do in this? Actually, she would have been really useful in this, tracking down some of the info. But
yeah, well, you only have so much money.
That's right.
She's new. She gets the short end of the stick.
But it's written by everybody. Again, we've got Chris Carter, Vince Gilligan, John Chabon, Frank Spotnitz, and directed by Rob Bowman. I mean, they pulled out some stops to deal with Scully's cancer.
So I typically have an issue when there's more than 2 writers, not necessarily on the X-Files, but any production. But, you know, you've got the Vince Gilligan, John Chabon, and Frank Spotnitz collaboration frequently on this show, and they do a decent job. This episode, I don't think it suffers by having 3 writers, but there are some jumbled scenes, some jumbled ideas, I think. And when you have so many writers, I think it's tough to make it a cohesive story and something that people can easily understand.
Well, there's a lot of episode in this one. I mean, you've got essentially 3 storylines going on. You've got Scully and the cancer. You've got Mulder doing his quest through the MUFON network. And then you've got this little bit they've put in there with Skinner and the cigarette smoking man. So you've got to dovetail those really subtly and keep things on track, or else it can get confusing. So I think that's why they've got all the writers, is because you have to have Chris Carter and Frank Spotnitz doing mythology, because it's their story, and the one reins in the other. I'm not sure what Vince and John's roles are here, other than maybe trying to edit the script so that it's more or less comprehensive and what's the word I'm looking for? Cohesive. Because there is so much. Like, I had to go through it a second time to figure out why Mulder was going to the places he was going to. I didn't get it the first time around. I was like, why are we here again? But it is there. Like, if you pay attention, everything does hang well. So I credit this episode for keeping its facts straight.
Mm-hmm. What do you say we get started?
I think we're going to have to. There's a lot of episodes.
Dive into Memento Mori. Yeah.
I've still got some pizza here, so I'll be...
So it'll be quiet. He's going to mute himself, although he won't have much time.
Oh, okay. Thank you for giving me that.
I'm giving you a heads up.
Okay. No. I'll take small bites.
We start. Utter darkness. A pale white light slowly grows closer as Scully narrates, talking as if writing in a journal, speaking indirectly about her life and mortality. The abstract light becomes a doorway, filled by brilliant light. Inside stands a figure, at first silhouetted by brightness, but coming into focus, we see it is Scully in a hospital smock, standing in front of an X-ray board and holding up an X-ray of her head, showing a slender but significant white mass along her orbital socket. The shot circles to her face, lingers, and then fades to credits as she asks Mulder's forgiveness for not making the rest of his journey with him. Credits.
Damn. They're writing her out of the series. This is it, Mike.
She finally got too lippy for the producers, and they're not going to allow a woman to make too much money. So,
like all the writers they ever hire,
they said, no, we didn't want you in the first place, and
right.
Now you're asking for more money? I don't think so, lady.
Go focus on your movie career, girl.
Go focus on your movie career.
Anytime one of the characters does a monologue, and that's a Chris Carter device if ever there was one.
Oh, yeah.
You know something big is about to happen here. The white corridor is totally a callback to the scene in One Breath where she's on the table and her dad walks over. I'm sure that's a callback there.
And death. It's one of those tropes of the white light and going to it and crossing to the other side. So I think there's some correlation there.
Yeah.
But what do you think of the opening? Is it just long enough? Too short?
My initial take is a bit of eye rolliness at the high stakes feeling they're trying to evoke with the monologue and the white. Like, it's simple, it's evocative. I'll give it that, but it just feels like, I guess it doesn't grab me.
I know where you're going.
You know, it feels simple and like a bit melodramatic. That's the word I'm going to use here.
They're not going to kill one of the stars.
Well, exactly. And it's like, okay, we know that this is all going to resolve at the end. It's just a question of how we get there. That can be entertaining too. But it's like, okay, this is the big deal about Scully's cancer, so we got to give it some weight. And the only way we can do that is with a white light corridor. Yeah, I mean, we just saw with Never Again that you can have weighty moments that don't need to have all this pomp and circumstance around them. So
Andrew just sucked the air out of the room. Scully's cancer is stupid.
This is stupid, and we should move on. Yeah,
terrible plot for the show. End of episode, ladies and gentlemen.
That's right.
Let's just not do this one.
Don't even bother. Spend your time listening to history hits or something better.
Okay. Well, Mulder arrives at Holy Cross Memorial with a bouquet of flowers. He walks with some speed down the hall to find Scully with her X-ray. We can see he's a little anxious, scared, uncomfortable because he's opening with a joke, which is something he does to avoid the situation.
Alleviate the tension.
Scully seems no worse for wear, in her work clothes and responding matter-of-factly and honest to a fault. She's suffering from a nasopharyngeal mass in her sinus. Mulder is the only one she's called. Despite their problems last week, she loves him.
It's all better now. Mommy and Daddy.
It's all better now. He asks the only question anyone cares about, is it operable? Statistically, she has about a 0 chance of survival if it pushes into her brain. And again, answers matter-of-factly. I want to comment on Duchovny's acting here. He stumbles over the line, I refuse to believe that. And it feels so helpless and genuine. He does a great job here. We can see that he's fighting reality, denial in its purest form, I think. He's being faced with his partner's mortality, and he's just not prepared for it. And I think that's, especially in this moment, heartbreaking when he's trying to get that sentence out. I don't believe that.
Well, it's also not. It's buttressed by the fact that this is not their first time doing this. She's had plenty of health scares up till now, and she has always made it through. So I think he is literally just saying, well, surely there's something we can do because we have done things before.
Absolutely. And he goes on to say, there must be other people who've had this, who've survived. And she says there are, in fact, other people who've received treatment for this. And the scene ends.
Yeah.
In Skinner's office, we get another heartfelt scene as she hands him the x-ray. Despite his hard as steel exterior, Skinner is apologetic and sorrowful for her condition. She aims to keep this professional, though, and is simply asking him to keep it confidential. Meanwhile, they're going to pursue this has got to be one of the weirdest things, to say, hey, I have cancer, and by the way, I'm going to go blame someone for it.
Yeah, I'm going to go and prosecute this. The hell you are.
They are choosing not to pursue this medically right now. They're going to do a line of investigation, which is, that's got to be one of those moments for Skinner where it's like, huh? What?
I don't see how this is going to help. But
I don't see how throwing someone in jail is going to fix your cancer, nor how they gave it to you.
Yeah, we've already discussed in the past Scully getting cancer from a thing that they implanted in her. So, know about that.
Well, they're gonna do their X-Files thing.
Well, the thing I really like about this is, again, what the hell is their actual job? Because they seem to have a lot of latitude to just do whatever the F they want, and he's their boss. He'd be like, actually, I've got a few reports that need filing, and this whole business.
Week. They don't have any bug monsters or liver eaters this week, so go ahead.
You know what? There's a task force I could assign you to that would make use of your limited time on this world.
This would be you're still an employee. Best job on the planet. Because
Definitely.
If you're not investigating an X-File, you're not doing anything, but you're getting paid.
That's right.
It's like, just hang out in your office, as long as you're showing up on time and staying all day. I don't care what you do.
I literally can't fire you. That would look bad. So, just hang out in your office and clean your gun.
Yeah. Well,
we're going to MUFON, Mike. We're moving on.
It was a good one. It's better than what you've been doing recently.
I have been trying to raise the bar. Yeah.
Really? Okay. So anyway, they are going to pursue this line of investigation. And that, of course, means the women that Scully happened upon in Allentown, Pennsylvania last year, the abductees who all removed implants from the base of their necks and all developed cancer. Betsy Hagopian is the contact she wants to go meet. So yeah, I think we head out here to Allentown, and a realtor is scraping a small MUFON sticker off a home window as the agents roll up. Incorrectly, she assumes they're potential buyers, but they're not here for this garage sale, Andrew. After the introduction, she lets them in to look around, and it's right here that the written by credits fade in. And I'm sorry, once again, 4 writers on one episode could be trouble.
Yes, I too made note of the credit at this point. It's like all the writers.
Yes. Scully observes the living room where she was interrogated by the women, all holding their implants up, and she feels the back of her neck tingle. Mulder checks the phone, and there's a signal. Someone's sending a signal or a fax of some kind. They head downstairs into the basement to look around.
Sorry, I need to call out the flashback at this point. I think it's completely unnecessary.
I would agree with you if it was not a season and a half ago or a season ago.
Yeah, okay, all right. So but even then, it doesn't serve that audience who maybe didn't see it. It maybe serves an audience who saw it and has forgotten.
Well, okay, but at a point you have to abandon the people who are just here for one episode. Like, they are producing a show with a through line, so they have to. I understand that you have misgivings about that, but there has to be some sort of.
My misgiving is that if you're going to flashback, you need to give us a bit more context. If you're going to do this, the only people that serves are the people that did see it and will remember that scene with this 2-second long flashback they give us. Like, I guess that they have a very, very small amount of edit time that they can devote to this moment, and they just want to pique our interest with the other MUFON members. But they've talked about the MUFON members. Like, there's actual dialogue about these women and what they're doing here. So if you're going to have this scene, give us more of the scene to remind us why it's important. But this 2-second little blip to them all holding up their implants, I don't think it serves anybody. So I just saw that and I was like, okay, we're going to, now it's done. Okay, well, why did we do that other than, okay, episode, sure.
Fair enough. They find a computer that is sending files. Scully dials for a trace. Quick cut to 234, an apartment for Kurt Crawford. They buzz his door. Scully tries again while Mulder disappears around back, looking for a fire escape. He gets into the apartment building and heads up some stairs. Just then, a figure bursts out of a door behind him and runs. Mulder gives chase. Outside, the figure drops to the ground and Scully aims her gun, calling for him to stop. The agents manage to catch up to him and Mulder takes him down. He identifies himself as Kurt Crawford. Mulder holds him at bay, and as he looks up at Scully, notices a little blood coming out of her left nostril. He gestures to her, so she's aware, and she gets embarrassed and flustered. She's very self-conscious now.
What a scene. This is it. This is cancer.
Yep. It is now going to be a convenient thing at awkward moments that she's going to start bleeding from her nose. Scully washes her nose with a wet cloth in the apartment bathroom while Mulder babysits Kurt. He's a member of the same MUFON group of Betsy's, and he was taking the files for safekeeping. He thinks his life is in danger. A government conspiracy to suppress those files. Scully wants the information cross-checked, but they can't. All of them died of brain cancer within the last year. Only Penny Northern remains. Scully presses him why it's a conspiracy. And he says, 11 women abducted, similar recollections, and all developing brain tumors, all refusing care because of the facts. That is why it's a conspiracy.
It's not wrong.
It's convincible evidence, I'd say. That's interesting. 11 women all dead from the same thing. Okay. Mulder pulls her aside quietly, and he asks her to admit to herself what she's been denying.
What am I denying?
Where your cancer came from.
Mulder, it doesn't matter.
It does matter. If what you have is a result of your abduction, and that abduction is something the government knows about, then those are facts that should be brought to light.
I don't know what happened to me. I have no clear recollection, and I don't think these abductions are even abductions.
Well, these women are dead.
No, they are not. One woman isn't, is Penny Northern.
If you won't listen to me, then I think you should go talk to her.
About what? What it feels like to be dying of cancer? What it's like to know that there's absolutely nothing you can do about it?
If that's too hard for you, then I think you should go as an investigator. You have one remaining witness, Agent Scully. I think you'd want to know what her story is.
My problem in this scene is Mulder, actually. Like, why is he browbeating her to go talk to Penny Northern? It's like, why doesn't she say, Mulder, if you think she's so important, you go and do the interview? You know, I I don't believe this is important. I'm going to do something else. But I mean, she is literally the only evidence that is left. So the plot has to take us to her. I understand that she is, you know, the nature of her character as the skeptic refuses to allow her to believe that this cancer was inflicted on her, that it was the result of an alien abduction. I think, though, that we have seen in previous episodes that there is a preponderance of evidence that suggests it's related to the implant. And you know, it's hard to ignore that. So her coming back to be the skeptic here, I think that is just done to allow her to change later. And that it would be more complicated for her to be on board at this point. It wouldn't give us the tension that we need. So
to that point, I think she, unfortunately, and we've joked about it before, you know, when will it be enough for Scully to just believe? And she's had all these experiences with paranormal things, and even her abduction and what was done to her, and being pulled aside in season 3 and having 11 women or 12 women tell her, you know, this is what happened to us. We saw you there. We all have implants. This is exactly what she experienced, but she still refuses, like, the logic in her head, like, this could not possibly have happened. And it crops up in weird locations like now. Even though she's put stock at least a little bit in what Leonard Betts had to say a couple weeks ago. So it's like, what? I understand you want to cling to science and explaining things, but sometimes you might just need to let go a little bit and just believe what Mulder's telling you and other people.
She does when faith is involved. And honestly, all of this is because she's written that way. Like, if you want to apply logic to it, it's simply because the episode demands that she be this way. And you know, if they wanted her to be a different way, they would write it so that she got the evidence that she needed to believe it. And it would all work out in a way that is satisfying. But because they chose to keep her as the skeptic, and more power to them, that's the role she's cast in. They enable that to persevere by not writing it in such that she has the information she needs to believe it. So she doesn't have it, thus she doesn't believe. And I'm fine with that, you know.
Mulder's prodding seems to have worked. She does relent and goes to see Penny Northern. A pregnant pause, and we go to a hospital. Penny's happy to see Scully as she slowly enters the room. Northern lays in her bed, sickly. She recognized Scully. She comforted her in the White Place during Scully's abduction. Dr. Scanlon treated Betsy's cancer and is now treating Northern's. He may have found the cause, she says. If he'd have found it earlier, he might have been able to do more for the fallen victims. But alas. Alas or but alas? Alas. I'm going to say alas.
Yep.
Back in Hagopian's house, Mulder and Crawford, they're going through files. He starts off with more facts. The women are childless, infertile, being treated at a nearby clinic.
It's true. And that was the vital link I needed, actually. When I watched this later on in the episode, he's breaking into the place. And I'm like, why is he breaking into this place? What is this place? And then I had to go back and I'm like, oh, right. He did say at this point, they were all treated at this infertility clinic.
Yep. Well, Scully interrupts. She calls Mulder and she asks him to bring an overnight bag. Hint, hint. She's always packing an overnight bag for their investigations. She asks him to bring it to the hospital. She's checking herself in. And immediately his demeanor reverts back to the opening scene. He's scared. Oh, boy.
My question, why does he answer his phone? Like, she calls, Mulder, it's me. We have that classic interchange. Why does he say, "Where are you, Scully"? He knows where she is. I think he drove her there. It's like,
it's just instinct. He's just, going through the motions. This is what he always asks. Where are you, Scully? Oh, wait.
Yeah. I suppose that's for the audience, really, to remind us where she is. But anyway, we've got a reversal. The truth is in her. That's where she needs to pursue it. Yeah. And I think that's a pretty pivotal line that they've.
The truth is in me.
Yeah.
She's going to call her mother. Oh, boy. Well, for right now, she's asking him to put everything aside, and she's going to pursue the treatment.
Mm-hmm.
Mulder slams the cabinet shut, and Crawford watches him leave. Bro, where are you going?
As soon as he walked out the door, I'm like, oh, well, there's the dead man.
Yeah, right. Mulder simply leaves Crawford in Hagopian's house. No concern for him whatsoever, almost as if he doesn't exist.
You'll be fine.
And as Mulder pulls away, another sedan down the way turns on its lights and pulls up, which I argue probably shouldn't turn on its lights.
Yeah, just get out of the car.
Just get out of the car.
Yeah. I thought it was going to be the classic and the car follows Mulder, but no. In fact,
no.
He's left that classic parking spot. I am going to snag that parking spot.
Oh, man. Well, you know what? I can't fault him because I'm always looking for the closest spot, too. So I can relate to this guy.
I sure can.
Crawford hears the door shut from inside the house and calls for Mulder. But it's not Mulder. It is the gray-haired man, the man in black with a space stiletto. He flicks it open and walks past the camera. A quick cut to it closing, and the camera tracks over Crawford's body to show it decomposing in a fizzy green mess. He is not who he said he was.
No, he's still Kirk Crawford.
Well, I suppose he is who he decided to be. That is correct.
He's
the next morning, Scully stirs in her hospital bed. Above her is a man silhouetted by the brilliant light of the sun coming through the window. Spoiler alert, Andrew.
It's God.
This doctor's a creep. Just standing there watching the patient as she sleeps, waiting for her to get up on her own.
He's reviewing the file. He's doing nothing creepy. He is doing his job.
She's reviewing her. He's not reviewing anything.
Yeah.
I don't know. So she apologizes naturally. I was sleeping. He noticed, which is creepy. He smirks. I just
really
don't like this
observant
guy.
Man.
I don't know, man. This guy's a creep. I've never had a doctor walk in on me while I was sleeping and not wake me up or just sit there.
Go do something else, this one's asleep. I will just come back.
I don't know. I'm putting way too much stock in this guy's scene, but whatever.
Well, he is the nicest guy ever, which means, of course, he's a villain. But
of course. Apparently, the two spoke on the phone last night. He inquires as to her energy level. She doesn't feel sick at all. He tells her he has an idea of what to expect, as she likely does too. He ends the scene with some honesty that perhaps she's not ready to hear, but needs to. You're going to feel like dying.
I think it's worth examining what his role in this episode actually is. Obviously, it's a reveal later that he is not who he seems, but like, I don't know, maybe this is skipping ahead, but I want to get it out of the way now. What is his role in the project here? Like, because they cast him as this doctor who's really trying to help. He wasn't able to succeed with the other women, but
the way I kind of envisioned it, he is not vital necessarily. If it wasn't him, it'd be someone else. He is their plant because he's quote unquote, he's telling them that he's on the breakthrough or close to a breakthrough as to what's causing it. He's giving these women hope and they're all spreading the word as to this is where they need to go. I think his role with the syndicate or the bad people is just to keep an eye on these people and make sure that they don't get cured, to keep them quiet, I guess. I don't know. I would say that that's probably all we need to draw from it. He's just a henchman who's, because they say he's a henchman, is doing bad things. So he's not doing his job. He's hindering them in some way.
Well, maybe the radiation machine isn't turned on, and maybe the chemo is just, roofies or whatever. But they certainly go to great lengths later on to paint him as a villain by virtue of his name is in another place. And it's like, oh, he's in two places, therefore he must be bad. The treatment must be stopped immediately. Yeah. But I don't know. It just feels a bit like guilty by association, whereas he's really a nice guy, Mike. He could be actually doing his level best.
You're right.
To save.
And I bet every woman hated what I had to say about him at the beginning of this scene because they appreciate a weird man that they've never met before just watching over them as they sleep in bed. You're right. Okay. I'm sure he's a nice dude.
I'm sure he is. He's got great bedside manner.
It's at this point, Andrew, that good old Margaret Scully. Yeah. Boy, Margaret comes in.
Yeah.
Her rapid-fire chit-chat betrays her emotions. Her voice is shaky. Scully tries to calm her down, and the doctor exits.
That is my favorite bit of business in in most of these kind of scenarios where it's the person with the problem who becomes the comforter.
Right?
It's like, God. You know what? I'm dealing with some stuff here, and your energy is just, now I got to comfort you. Why don't you go home? I know you mean well, but man, you are not making my life better by being here.
Well, Jesus. Margaret takes off her coat, and Scully is trying to apologize for what? I don't know, being sick? And we can hear Mark Snow's music get dark. And I don't know why you didn't tell me immediately. She throws the coat at the wall. I'm sorry. You often question why I don't like this woman, this character. But fuck you, Mom. There is nothing wrong with Scully trying to kind of compose herself and get answers before, I don't know, scaring the shit out of her mother. Maybe she's trying to say, I looked for answers. I looked for treatment before I laid it on you that I have cancer. I get that you care about your daughter, but shut the fuck up. You are not her first phone call. I'm sorry. I hate this scene.
I hate that I'm going to be Mrs. Scully's apologist here, but
of course you are.
Well,
I understand being concerned and being sad and afraid, but Jesus, don't make her feel bad. She's got cancer.
Okay, here's where I land on this character, in that she is not a strong person. And it's underlined by Mrs. Scully saying, you were always the strong one. And that shows through right here. The minute that there's a problem, Mrs. Scully falls to pieces. I mean, she is adhering to her role as a mother, and I'm going to be there and do whatever needs to be done. But the fact that she falls to pieces and, throws her coat around and why didn't you tell me immediately? And that is clearly a shitty thing to do to somebody who is sick. And she is not self-aware enough to realize what she is doing to Dana in this moment. And it sucks. But I like that the show presents us with imperfect characters.
Absolutely.
And makes us enjoy the tension that is right here. Yeah, it's terrible. But I think this is also a case of them realizing that the scene needs something. It needs something to make it interesting, and that something is not going to be a tender, heartfelt moment of "I love you very much, my darling girl, and I'll always be here," etc. I like that they took it in this direction, but I think it's a little overacty. Throwing the coat around and why did you tell me immediately? Yeah. It's like there are other things she would have said here instead. It could have been a little more subtle, but There's a lot of guilt being thrown at this point. You're my only daughter now? Oh, my God. Yeah, it's all about you.
Thanks, Ma. Thanks.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, you're my only mother now.
Yeah, I'm with the drama of it in terms of it makes good TV viewing to have some conflict, but just the idea of it, fuck you, Mom. I'm sorry.
No, this is not a healthy relationship.
Okay, we fade now to a testing chamber. Scully's head is fitted with a plastic MRI mask. The machine is engaged and large X-rays spin slowly around her, developing an image.
In med school, I learned that cancer arrives in the body unannounced. A dark stranger who takes up residence, turning its new home against itself. This is the evil of cancer. That it starts as an invader, but soon becomes one with the invaded, forcing you to destroy it, but only at the risk of destroying yourself. It is science's demon possession. My treatments, science's attempt at exorcism. Mulder, I hope that in these terms you might know it and know me, and accept this stranger so many recognize but cannot ever completely cast out. And if the darkness should have swallowed me as you read this, you must never think there was the possibility of some secret intervention, something you might have done. And though we've traveled far together, this last distance must necessarily be traveled alone.
Mulder searches a dark building with a flashlight. He comes across shelves and shelves of files at the Center for Reproductive Medicine. He sits down at a computer, but is interrupted by someone nearby and hides. The man enters the room, and Mulder holds him at gunpoint. It's Kurt Crawford again. But wait a minute. He just died, Andrew.
Yeah, but Mulder didn't see, so it's all good.
He didn't see.
Yeah.
He tells him to put the gun away. Mulder accuses him of disappearing from Hagopians with the files and wouldn't return his calls. So I have a question, Andrew. If Mulder's been back to Hagopians, wouldn't he have seen the green goo?
No, this green goo is really good.
Did he sneeze? He just thought it was boogers.
No, it fades without a trace. It's really specific to the plot. You know, when CSM says nothing disappears without a trace, well, this stuff does.
This stuff does.
Well,
it's important to note. Oh, go ahead.
Well, yeah. I just wanted to call back to Scully's radiation treatment there. I mean, that situation alone looks like pure science fiction. The fact that she's in this giant machine, which I'm sure is completely legit. You know, that's how you administer radiation. But the whole face mask and just her being there and it's rotating around, it's just like you couldn't have built a better set for this. You know, it's just so out there. And it does call back to the procedure she had with the alien abduction. So really good scene. You know, I could do without the monologue, even though you need to have something there, because otherwise it's just like, yep, we're doing a radiation business or whatever. It adds weight to it, but
absolutely,
they try for this lyrical style, and I don't know if it lands with her. Like, she's not that character. In my book. So I don't know if I buy it per se. I appreciate what they're trying to do. They're trying to add weight to the gravity of the situation. Didn't land for me, but
like the journal entry type thing.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. It's all coming back to it's where this is supposed to be. I think is it in the journal,
and I think that's essentially where they go with it by the end of the episode. But
yeah.
I mean, the only other time we've seen Scully journal is fucking Dodd column, and that's because she was going to die.
Yeah.
So maybe that's a theme with her. I just need to get my thoughts on paper because I'm about to die.
That's fair, but this is her thoughts in Dodd.com. I suppose, you know, I hear the wolf at the door.
The wolf at the door.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. All right. I grudgingly accept the point.
All right.
It's amped up in this episode.
New Crawford convinces Mulder he's trying to get past the password protect on the computer. They're after the same thing, Andrew. They sit back down at the CPU as Crawford II tries to figure it out. Mulder grabs a snow globe off the desk, and written on it is Vegreville. He offers that up as an option, and sure enough, Andrew, it works. Because it's always that easy. It is always that easy.
Mike, what I would have preferred to the nth degree would have been flip up the keyboard and see a sticky with the password underneath it. You know, I want them to use that level of tradecraft to solve it, not just grab a random object and, you know, say, oh, well, maybe that's the password. Nobody does that.
I do it all the time. I don't know what you're talking about. I've got
Find the nearest object. What would be a secure password for this incredibly sensitive data?
IBM.
There we go.
Logitech. Oh, man. So, yeah.
Looking around the objects on my desk here. Yeah, sure. Yeah. Samsung, look at that. There's a secure password.
Yeah. Scully is in her hospital bed having nightmares, flashes of a drill from her abduction. Penny is there to try and comfort her. She's sick from the chemo. She had a dream someone was doing something bad to her. Probably that doctor. She tries to talk a little about the tests, but Scully stops her with tearful words. She just can't hear this right now. But Penny begs her to try to make sense of it. It will help her in the end. In Skinner's office, Mulder waits for him as he enters, staring out the window. Without introductions, he asks Skinner to set up a meeting for him.
Hold on my calls. Where's Agent Scully?
She's in a hospital in Allentown beginning treatment.
What happened to your investigative avenues?
They've taken a turn. A pretty big U-turn by the looks of it. This is a file directory from a federally operated fertility clinic. Agent Scully's name is on this file. Although I'm pretty damn sure she's never undergone treatment for infertility.
What's in the file?
I don't know. It's just a directory for a mainframe housed in the Lombard Research Facility.
So you want to set up a meeting with whom?
Cigarette man. I have no doubt in my mind he's behind this.
You've come to me before like this, Mulder.
Yeah, well, this is different. I'm willing to deal now.
Find another way.
No. I need that meeting.
You deal with this man. You offer him anything, and he will own you forever.
He knows what they did to Agent Scully. He may very well know how to save her.
If he knows, you can know too, but you can't ask the truth of a man who trades and lies. I won't let you.
We are talking about Agent Scully's life.
Find another way.
Wow. Mulder is convinced, as he should be, that CSM is behind this.
My favorite line in this whole exchange, and God bless Mitch Pileggi, you can't ask the truth of a man who trades and lies.
It's so good.
It's so good. Is that Vince Gilligan writing that line?
Oh, most likely.
Yeah.
I think it's a great line. And
it's so good.
Skinner's absolutely right. You cannot deal with this guy. He's given you nothing but deception and, shadows and cloak and dagger stuff so far. You've known him for 4 years. Mm-hmm. What makes you think he's going to just go, all right, you're right, I'll cure Scully?
or frankly, the price is too high, for what you get. It's not going to work out for you. But of course, he should take his own goddamn advice, as opposed to.
Who knows what he's going to ask of you, Mulder? But it's a great scene.
It's a wonderful scene. Yeah.
It highlights Mulder's desperation, as he's so good at being. We love desperate Mulder.
Mm-hmm.
Mitch Pileggi is always just a fucking treat. So,
yeah. But it does set up our next scene where he says, there's got to be another way. And then Mulder, for like that split second, looks off and it's like, but wait, there is another way.
There is.
Remember those other guest star credits we saw at the beginning? Well, guess what, people? Here we go.
The investigation takes a U-turn, and he has the diskette that he's showing Skinner. So, yeah, on the diskette is a directory of federally operated fertility clinic. Ooh. So Scully's name's on the list, and that's not a good sign.
Yeah, she never tried to have no baby. So what the hell's her name doing there?
What is her name doing there?
Gotta admit, I miss me the 3.5-inch floppy disk, which misnamed. That disk is not floppy. But the idea of saying in casual conversation, do you have a 3.5-inch floppy on you?
At the Lone Gunman office, they've hacked into the Lombard system. They got their hands on Scully's file. On the screen flashes sequence codes and a DNA double helix animation. They've seen the gene code in Scully's blood after her abduction. Normal DNA is inactive in a helical form. When it's unwound, like this one, that's when it can change and mutate. Likely, it's what's made her sick. They deduce that scientists kept the information accessible in fear that someone might try and steal the idea. Somebody might be trying to find a cause or cure. Mulder ends the scene, asking the 3 hackers to find something black and slimming. They're going to the Lombard Research Facility. Oh boy.
To which I would say, nope, I am no field agent. You're going to have to find some other people who know this shit, because I mean, I suppose they could be convinced because it's for Scully.
Oh, yeah.
But
she's
my
hot.
first instinct when being asked to do that is, Mulder, we're hackers and cowards. We're not going to do this for you.
Well, they turn into, Mission Impossible folks.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I think
I don't hate it. Don't get me wrong. I love them in the field. I think it's me, I've got a huge soft spot for the lone gunman and
absolutely
them getting more screen time and not just the place where Mulder goes when he needs something, some esoteric information. I am totally fine with them getting more screen time. It's just, this is them being extended as characters that they could go out in the field and do this so casually. I need a bit more of them saying, wait a second, the best we can do is skate badly in public, but this is Black Ops.
Yeah, this is their first time off skates. So
mm-hmm.
Skinner stops into Mulder's office. The lights are off and a shadowy figure rises from the desk. It's Raul Bloodworth, Andrew. He prods Skinner as he stands just inside the office doorway. I always thought of you as Mulder's patron, yet here you are, in the basement, locked away. Skinner retorts with a joke about CSM taking the elevator up to get to work, and he asks Skinner why he's been summoned, but answers his own question. It's about Mulder's partner's illness. Ooh. The two men exchange silences, but Skinner asks him for a miracle, despite what he thinks of the man. CSM is loving this, Andrew.
Oh my God. So nice. What a brilliant scene. Yeah.
The two men stand off in a war of wills here, and CSM has the upper hand and he knows it. And just like that, the tables are now turned back in CSM's favor. Skinner,
and he doesn't even have to give him anything too. It's just like, I have my dick on the table here. Yep. The minute you would like to fillet it, please feel free.
It's such a good scene. And the scene ends obscurely. He's gonna think about what he's gonna ask for from Skinner.
I'm gonna let you stew a bit with what you have just done to yourself, so that when I drive the knife in, it'll be all that sweeter.
Yeah. If you think you're gonna ask me for a favor and you're gonna get an answer immediately, you got another thing coming, sir.
I gotta think about what I need. I wasn't expecting this.
Oh man. Well, we go now to the Lombard facility.
The Great Invasion.
Yes. We see the grate removed and a tool dropped down. It's Frohickey and Langley with headlamps on, dressed all in black. Mulder and Byers are in the car nearby. They're watching the security guard from a distance while the other two infiltrate the facility. They're at K section, where it links up to a tower. 2 minutes for the systems check. Mulder and Byers wait for the guard to move on and make their move, while the hackers in the pipe take the security cameras offline. Mulder and Byers head down darkened hallways and come to a keypad on a glass door. In typical heist fashion, things heat up here. They need the access code but can't locate it. Mulder grabs the phone and asks what's going on. As he does, he sees through another door Dr. Scanlon's name on a list of doctors on call. Why is the doctor who's treating Scully's cancer here? Andrew?
Well, this is my point that I made earlier. It's like,
I know.
There could be any number of innocent explanations. Like, it's not like this literally has, Black Ops facility written on it. It's a place in time, and yeah, it maybe have some suspect information, but does that discount all the good work that they maybe do here? So I think
yes,
Mulder's gut knee-jerk reaction of Scanlon's name is here, thus he's bad, thus Byers has to go immediately to tell Scully to stop treatment. It feels pretty flimsy to me, but it's obviously a device to split them up.
Yep. Well, Langley bypasses the door and Mulder sends Byers to get Scully. Get her to stop the treatment immediately, Andrew, because there is no rush to judgment
work.
Here.
Yeah.
No rush to judgment. I think he is 100% right, and he should trust his instincts. And of course, if one man's name is here and also at the hospital with Scully, that must mean he's bad.
He's a bad man.
Bad man.
Bad man.
So, as Mulder runs down the hall, we get a slow fade-in of another Scully voiceover as she writes in her journal.
I have not written to you in the last 24 hours because the treatment has weakened my spirit as well as my body. Mulder, it's difficult to describe to you the fear of facing an enemy which I can neither conquer nor escape. Penny Northern has taken a downturn. I now look at her with a respect that can only come from one who is about to walk the same dark path. Seeing her, I can't help but see myself in a month or a year. I pray that I have her courage to face this journey. Mulder, I feel you close, though I know you are now pursuing your own path. For that, I am grateful. More than I could ever express. I need to know you're out there if I am ever to see through this.
We need to check in with Scully because we haven't seen her for the last 10 minutes. Is that it? I mean, I think that this moment could be tense enough without having to remind us that Scully has cancer.
I disagree. I think we need to be reminded that she has cancer for the third or fourth time in this episode.
Well, your logical point is taken. Okay.
In case you missed it.
In case you've forgotten why we're here.
In case you forgot why Mulder's doing everything he's doing.
And arguably, there is a population that has forgotten, but probably also doesn't care.
I'm sure there are.
Doesn't care. Yeah. We have a nice heist scene here. Give me the heist. Don't give me the bad poetry. Give me the heist.
As she speaks, we see Mulder traveling from door to door in dark hallways looking for anything. Then Langley and Frohike get an interruption on their systems, and we see that security has shown up. Byers' exit is blocked. Mulder calls for them to open a door, and suddenly it opens. Inside is a familiar face. It's Kurt Crawford. And another Kurt. And another. They beckon him inside to explain. Mulder's once again treated to pop clones. Inside the lab are many tanks filled with liquid. Grown adults inside, laying on the floor of each tank. The men, all clones of Crawford, work diligently in the lab.
Mike, is this not the fourth time we've had this set up in the show so far?
It is not the first nor the second, I don't think.
Yeah, I mean, they have come back to this playbook. I think it's 4 times now. Certainly it's 3 times that we've got the clones. You know, it's like the moment of, you know, Kurt and another Kurt, and there's Kurt over there, and there's a fourth Kurt. You know, It's like, okay, we've done this trick before. The first time was, I don't even need to enumerate the times we've had. We have been there. So I'm amazed that there's any shock value left in this. And then him saying, please come in so that we might explain. Right then I wrote, there's not going to be an explanation.
There is no explanation.
They are not going to tell him shit. They are going to show him things. He is going to have to draw his own conclusions. They're going to nod sagely, but there will be no, and this is why we're doing all this and why your partner has cancer. And by the way, here's her cure. No, there's not going to be any of that shit.
As frequently as this happens, there is no resolution. And you'd think Mulder would know better by now, but he does not.
You think he'd have a checklist of questions that he would answer? So, Kurt, if that's your real name, what planet are you from? How did you get here? How do you intend for your future generations to get here? Where's the cure come from? You know, none of that shit comes up. It's all like, let's have a tour.
He should have thrown his hands up when the door opened. You know what? Not again. And just walked
away. Just close the door again. Like, nah,
I'm not doing this again. Guys. Oh, boy. But we learn, Andrew, despite what we believe about the scene, they are working to subvert the project that created them. They want to destroy it. They want what Mulder wants. They take him to the nice, shiny vault room. It's a long hallway. Their images are reflected on the silver drawers. Catalogs of human ova are stored here. The ova are taken from abductees. The doctor stands and points at one drawer. Dana Scully. It's revealed they were harvested through the abduction period with a process that caused superovulation to fertilize. Mulder fills in the gaps. For genetic hybridization, reproduction, Mulder guesses that the women, the abductees, are the clones' mothers. So these are the children of Scully and her friends. Andrew. That's interesting. Ooh.
Sure. My question.
Yeah.
Do these guys work here?
No.
Because, like, this is the heart of the conspiracy, right? We've got tanks of the alien-human hybrids being developed, and they're in support of the project. And we've got the stockpile of all the ova harvested from the women, the mothers. So, like, this is enemy territory, I think, as far as Mulder's concerned. Okay. So why are Kurt Crawford and his clones here? They seem to be perfectly at home here. They've got lab coats, for God's sake. So it seems to me they're part of the project. And
I think it's kind of adding on to what we were talking about earlier, where they are technically employed, so to speak, by the syndicate or the shadow government. But they are working to subvert it. Kind of like Scanlan is employed to keep tabs on the victims and make sure they don't get cured. Or
one of the Kurt Crawfords got away and was trying to get information from MUFON, and they're working within the system.
Yeah, they're working from within, and they sent him out to hopefully get answers for them.
Okay. Now I'm really lost because
I don't know.
No. Okay. Think about how this tracks in that you've got Kurt Crawford first, our civilian Kurt Crawford, who was initially encountered, getting information from MUFON, which points them to Lehigh Furnace Reproductive Clinic or whatever. And that gets them the disc, which has the directory, which leads them to Lombard, where all the Kurt Crawfords already are. So it's like, I don't understand what Kurt Crawford has accomplished by going to MUFON and getting that information from MUFON, because it brings them back to where the Kurt Crawfords already are.
Yeah. That's a good point. Whatever, man. Whatever.
Don't overthink it, Andrew. Just watch the friggin' show.
Why don't you like the show? We have to go through this every week.
And we do. We do have to have it explained to me in rigorous detail.
Come on, Andrew. I thought you didn't like having everything explained.
Just give me a little thing which hangs together nicely. You don't need to walk me through it, but just give me all the relevant facts that work.
Well, to cap off this scene,
to ignore your point completely and move on.
Ignore your point completely.
Yeah.
I don't know what else you want me to say.
You don't. There are no answers.
The show, Andrew.
There are no answers. You can just keep on going.
These Kurt Crawfords are angry. Their mothers were left to die, and the procedure used to collect the ova left them all barren and caused their cancer. They're trying to save them, obviously doing a piss-poor job of it. Mulder takes Scully's sample and leaves in a hurry. He now has to escape the lab, and Langley is getting security alarms. Byers has yet to make it out himself. One of the syndicate henchmen bursts in and heads for the lab, looking around hastily. Langley tries to direct Mulder out of the building as fast as he can, but a door blocks his way. The henchman spots him and pulls his gun. He begins firing at the plexiglass door that separates the two men. Without hesitation, he reloads his gun, discharges and fires twice continuously. He shoots the glass so much that a hole begins to form as he walks steadily closer for a better shot. As he gets to the plexiglass barrier, Frohicke gets the door open and Mulder escapes before the man can get him. At the hospital, Mulder searches for Scully in an empty room, but finds her journal. In an enormous breach of trust, he reads it. How dare he? How dare he, Andrew?
How dare he?
Setting it back down, he runs down the hall asking where Scully is. Byers finds him, and the two rush off to see her. She's in Northern's room, comforting her. Dr. Scanlan isn't coming back. She thanks Dana for being a comfort and begs her to get well. You have to be the one, she says.
The chosen one, I believe.
Yeah, the chosen one. The mother of Jesus in the future. Scully says she hasn't given up hope, and she won't. With a new determination, she comforts Northern in her final moments and begins to cry. Out in the hall, a nurse runs past Mulder, indicating Northern's vitals have dropped. Scully leaves and walks away from Mulder. He speaks to her from a distance, not wanting to overwhelm her. He tells her he read her journal. She pauses for a moment and lifts up a strained, sickly index finger. You read my personal journal? My feelings that I wrote down?
I mean, it's not like I was writing it to you or anything, but that's fair. That's fair.
She's embarrassed, rather. She was going to throw the letter out. She's not going to let this thing beat her. She entered the hospital able to work, and that's how she's going to leave it. Mulder accuses Scanlon of possibly killing the other women. He hugs her. He tells her the truth will save her. It'll save both of them, and kisses her on the forehead.
That's all you get.
That's all you get. That's all you get, ladies and gentlemen. I know you want more. That's not what's going to happen.
Yeah. It would be a pretty underwhelming sex scene, too. I mean, she's on chemo. She looks pretty down.
Oh, there is nothing quite like chemo sex. I mean, you can look it up online. It's the best.
Man, you are just courting the haters. I love it.
As she walks away, he pulls the vial from his pocket and looks at it one more time.
You mean the vial that he pulled out from a super cooled storage container? I'm sure that's not necessary, but it's just for effect, really.
His pockets are thermal.
He's learned to come prepared. That leather jacket has like insulation layers in it. He pulls it out, like a trail of mist comes out from his pocket.
Every time he opens his trench coat.
Yeah, pulls a Coke from his other pocket. Delightful.
Never leave home without it. At Skinner's office, the phone rings. He picks it up. It's Mulder. He's given a lot of thought to what Skinner has to say, and he does think there's another way other than asking for CSM's help. It's a short phone call. As Skinner ends the conversation and hangs up, we see a puff of smoke enter the frame. Indeed, it is one CSM sitting on the other side of Skinner's desk listening in. He puts out the cigarette in his coffee and leaves. Skinner remains silent at his desk. He removes his glasses dramatically as we fade to black.
Ooh, he's making a deal.
Oh boy,
with the
he's
devil.
back in.
Yep. He's
Just
in
when
deep,
I think
baby.
I'm out, they pull me back in.
He is bending over to accept the deal.
So, what are your final thoughts? I'm ready for your final thoughts, Andrew.
Here we go. How on earth was this not a two-parter? I guess they weren't ready to let Scully get a remission story just yet, and they wanted to tease it out a little bit longer. Is it a good episode? Yes. It is a great episode. One of the better mythology stories. It's got, everybody in it. It's got a plot you can follow if you pay attention. Scully has the long, dark tea time with the soul while she battles chemo, while Mulder follows a trail of breadcrumbs that brings him from one computer to another. He ends up with some plot MacGuffins, a Scully blood sample, a tour from alien Kurt Crawford's, and everything comes full circle to bring Scully back into the FBI for a few more Monster of the Week episodes before we come back to finish the cancer story way away in Redux 2. So I liked it. I know I had some things to poke at. I don't think it's entirely solid in its plot. Kurt Crawford really, that boggles me a bit, his involvement. But
yeah,
if you squint a little bit and ignore it, it's a fine episode.
Good stuff. Good stuff. I think the melodrama that's been missing from the series is back.
It is back, baby.
The last few episodes.
Oh, yeah.
Scully's cancer development is something that lingered in the back of everyone's mind. Maybe not the cancer itself, but, anyone who has been a fan of the show and watched it since the beginning would remember that scene of Scully sitting down with all those women and their implants. So it was a nice callback because, honestly, I think a majority of people probably forgot about it.
Well, it's interesting you say that because the episode's title, Memento Mori, means remember you must die. So it's like, if you forgot, guess what?
I think it was a cool callback. especially because, again, it was a season ago and people had probably just, let it escape their minds. Mm-hmm. And overall, the episode is competent and really pushes the narrative forward. We also find out that they're harvesting the ova for other means, and we get a suggestion that the clones are the children of these people. So
yeah, as far as advancing the mythology plot, I do like that we have some more information. These are the moments that the true fans are looking for in mythology episodes. Like, what do we learn? And they are so stingy with detail that when we actually get some, it is to be celebrated. So I appreciate that is there. It's a bit ham-handed to get us to this point, because I contend that if they truly think that Mulder could be a useful ally in this fight, why the cloak and dagger with Kurt Crawford? Like, the minute that they capture him and bring him to the MUFON headquarters, he could have just spilled his guts and be like, look, I'm a clone. I'm in one of these alien human hybrids, and I need your help. Let's go right to Lombard.
Only 15 minutes long.
Yeah. Well,
you got to have the rigmarole.
Yeah, but you'd have so much more stuff you could explore. Like I suppose you wouldn't have some of the sequences. You wouldn't have Lone Gunman. You wouldn't have the heist. Okay, yeah, I'm okay with all that because it is good stuff. But it's like, once you know who these characters are, and again, if you spend 2 minutes thinking about how we got to this point, you'd go, well, why didn't he just tell him? Why didn't he just say at the beginning, I'm an alien human hybrid. These women are our mothers and we want to save them. Oh, your partner's one? Yeah, you should really ally with us so we can save her too,
No one trusts anyone in this show.
Nobody
you gotta be careful.
No one.
Even when you've heard of Mulder and you know what he's about, you got to be like, I'm not sure I can trust you yet. I'm going to string you along for a little bit, see what you're about.
Well, he's also not super effective.
No,
protagonists go.
He's not.
Yeah.
Good episode.
Do you want to hear the one listener comment we've got on this?
I do. Let's do that.
Emily Messenger says, this episode right here, her personal favorite episode. It's a shipper's delight. So I think what that's telling me, Mike, is that Emily Messenger is a shipper.
Oh.
I think that's what I'm getting. She can tell me different.
That makes sense.
What I really want to know, though, is how awkward was that phone call between Mulder and Maggie Scully when he had to call her and break the news about Scully being sick. That's a scene I wish we got.
Are you sitting down? What'd you have for dinner?
Hey. I know we never talk, but...
remember, the only time I call you is when something bad's happening to your daughter?
Well, something bad is happening to your daughter. So you might want to pack a bag. And you know what? The shuttle is terrible, so you might want to drive. It'll take you an hour longer, but it'll be worth it. Because you'll have wheels on the other end. You're going to do a lot of driving around because you're her mom, and she's going to ask you to do all sorts of things. She's always asking for her overnight bag.
It's going to give you a lot of time to think about how you can be a jerk to your daughter when you get there. So, yeah, just start driving now.
Mm-hmm.
That's the episode.
That's it,
Andrew. I think we've done it a good service here.
Yes.
Anything else you need to say, sir?
Be good to your parents, even if they rub you the wrong way. They won't be around forever. Appreciate them while you got them.
Beautiful. Thank you for listening, ladies and gentlemen. We will see you next week.
Bye-bye.
Thank you for listening to today's episode. If you liked what you heard, please rate and review on your podcast app of choice. Andrew and I would be eternally grateful to you fine people for helping us expand and get the word out. Also, we've got a killer group on Facebook. Feel free to join in on the discussion at facebook.com/groups/thisisnothappeningpod and become an official member of the syndicate. We do polls and we have questions for every episode to give you guys the opportunity to chime in and possibly let your voice be heard on our recordings. And please join us on our new Twitter at TINHXFilesPod, no dash, to stay up to date on everything, moment to moment. Thank you, and remember, don't stop swimming.